Question for you. Do we daydream in slow motion? Now, I'm not sure we do, but there's just something about it that feels right. Now, there's a good reason I'm daydreaming right now, and that's because of this. Now, normally, I love the snow. I enjoy winter and try to make the most of it. But it's April, and this... yeah, I'm done with this. But I'm actually not here to talk to you guys today about the weather. I'm here to talk to you about slow motion. Convincing? No, not really. Slow motion. Now, slow motion is an effect in filmmaking whereby time appears to be slowed down. Duh, I mean, everybody kind of knows what slow motion is. Now, in narrative filmmaking, the use of slow motion is an excellent way to exploit the moment. It allows you to focus on a short period of time and work to develop the details, emotions, and significance of that specific moment. And it allows the audience to really experience that visual event. Even though the use of slow motion can be quite dynamic, there are a few technical rules to be followed when trying to capture it. The first being, can your camera actually record it? You want a camera that is capable of shooting at least 60 frames per second. And second, the 180-degree shutter rule. Now, this rule states that in order to achieve that cinematic look for video, you need to take your frame rate and roughly double it, and that gives you your desired shutter speed. Make sense? Let me illustrate. When shooting 60 frames per second on my Sony, I will set my shutter speed to 1/125th of a second. Now, because this camera doesn't have the 1/120th option, I set the shutter speed as close to that number as possible. And when shooting at 120 frames per second, I'll set my shutter speed to 1/250th of a second. Now, these settings will ensure the slowed down footage looks cinematic and not a motion blurred mess. Now, here is an example of what footage looks like when you shoot at the wrong shutter speed. You get this ugly motion blurring that looks totally unnatural. Now, the next thing to keep in mind when bringing this footage into your edit is how much you can effectively slow it down and still have it hold together. Now, figuring this out is actually pretty simple. Take your sequence frame rate setting and divide it by the frame rate of the shot footage, and that will give you the percentage you can slow the clip down. So this is a 24 frame per second sequence, so divide 24 by the frame rate of the shot, which is 60, and you get 40%. So you can slow this clip down as much as 40%. Now, if you're using Adobe Premiere Pro and apply optical flow, the results of your footage may improve somewhat. For my 120p footage, I'll apply that same formula. So take my sequence number of 24 and divide by 120, which gives me 20%. Now, slow motion is a lot of fun to play around with creatively. It's just important to remember these steps when capturing it, otherwise your footage just isn't going to look right. Now, one question I have for you guys, and I've asked my DP friends this question a lot, is what makes footage cinematic? I'm curious to know what your thoughts on this. So in your opinion, what makes footage cinematic? Leave comments down below. I'd like to get your take on it. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. As for me, I'm gonna sit here and continue dreaming in slow motion about my vacation to the tropics, because, yeah, this snow, it's gotta go. It's gotta go. Slow motion. I'll see you guys next time.